what are your best sellers, so your high volume products, and what are the margins in them, and then what are your high margin products that aren't necessarily have the same volume behind them, and pair them together if it makes sense. What that does is it allows you to play really creatively with your cost structure, where you could be putting together $50 worth of cogs that would normally MSRP for $200, and then you're selling it at 150 and you're making that nice $100 margin with a great offer. You're not discounting down because for some reason people just always accept that if I buy things together, I should get a price break. And so you can offer probably an even more aggressive discount than you would normally and make more profit.
You are listening to the Messenger Mastermind podcast, a podcast that provides actionable tactics for quickly growing e-commerce companies to profitably scale their business. The strategies shared in this podcast are implemented daily by companies generating millions of dollars in revenue each year. Our goal is to help you build long-term profitable relationships with your customers.
Q4 is the busiest time for e-commerce brands. And if there's one thing that rings true year in and year out, you have to grab shoppers' attention quickly. SMS makes it easier than ever to connect with customers through their phones. Trusted by brands like Brooklinen, Native, FanJoy, and more, Postscript is the go-to text message marketing platform for brands on Shopify and Shopify Plus. Learn more and get started with a free 30-day trial at postscript.io.
Welcome to another week's episode of the Messenger Mastermind podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Horowitz, and today I'm joined by my incredible co-hosts, Mark Arudo and Ben Vandal, and we are going to dive into 4 discounting strategies that are not discounting down. So what I mean by that, holiday promos, but you don't have to give away as much margin. So Mark, let's dive right in with the first one of how is an effective way to deploy a gift with purchase so that you don't have to say like 20% off sales to come by this holiday season.
Yes, gift with purchase is absolutely my favorite promo for Black Friday. Really, it's a great promo for all year round. It's just, it's good to save the best things for the best times. The most important part, in my mind, why I think about free gift as super important, is the perceived value is higher than the actual value. And this means a lot more in compared to discounting something down. So the customer, what I mean by that is that the customer is receiving something that to them or actually is worth more than what it's costing you. So in comparison, giving a discount, you're just going to straight up lose that percentage, whatever that may be, dollar value. But with the free gift, that free gift could cost you $8, but to the customer, maybe it's actually a value of $50, let's say. So every year, I feel like I see the same questions over and over from stores about free gifts because there is not the perfect way to do it. I really wish that there was. I really wish that this could be an easier thing, but unfortunately, it is a little bit complicated to put together, and it's also a little bit complicated for the customer to understand because there's a lot going on, and some do it better than others. But there really are, I would say, 3 ways, and I'll try not to just rush through all of them, but there's 3 ways to kind of pull this off depending on where your company is, what your capability is. The first is just like a simple pop-up. So this isn't using any sort of apps or developments. This is just putting a pop-up on site that says, let's say if you spend X amount, you go and add this exact product to your cart, and you have an automatic discount that takes the value of that product to 0 based off of the threshold that you set. So this does work. We've done this in years past when our brand was smaller. I can't say that there's any major problems with it. It's just, it involves a little bit more around the sense of really hitting the customer in the face with what they need to know, because it's not going to happen for them. So if they're going to quickly close out of your pop-up, you need to make sure to kind of have a backup, whether it's like text at the top of the site or listed in other places, so that customers don't miss the fact that they have to hit a certain threshold and add the product to cart. They have to find the listing. You have to show the listing to them. Things like that. Educating your customer support to help guide those customers will also help. So this is probably the cheapest way, easiest way if you're not very technical or don't want to spend the money on such gifts. The other one is just kind of handling it through apps. And this can be hit or miss depending on the app that you use. Some work great. Some might conflict with other things on your store. This is our experience with this. Others have done very well with it. We've found the more apps you have, or the more, let's say, custom coding that you have, you may run into problems with adding certain apps because the fact that adding a free gift is a complicated thing. And you don't want to find that out when you're live on Black Friday. So just a suggestion, if you are going to use an app, let's say something like Rebuy, that would probably be our suggestion. Make sure to test that out anytime in advance. Something soft where your traffic's not at its highest point, that's going to be your best bet to make sure that you're going to avoid any hiccups and stay on top of it, because sometimes when you're using an app can push through an update that you're not even aware of, and then you kind of pay for it later. So I would say that would be the second option, something like an app. The third is the most expensive, but also, in my opinion, the best, and that would be to bring in some developers, or if you're a developer yourself, to hard code it yourself or by a developer. This will cost you the most money and be the most work, but it will be the best way. This will allow you to do the specific things that you want to do and probably avoid most of the problems. And it has the most upside because of things like, for example, Chubbies, showing, let's say, 2, 3, 4 different free gifts based off of spending tier thresholds. So an example of that is if you spend $100, you get this free sticker. If you spend $150, you get this shirt. If you spend $300, you get this pair of shorts. So this is obviously incentivizing more spend, which is really the whole purpose of the free gift just in general. You don't want to be just giving a free gift just to give a free gift. The purpose of it is to have a customer spend more and receive something in compensation for doing that.
Yeah, I'm such a big fan of this promo because it is just like Mark said, like if you pick the right free gift that is not that expensive to you, but highly desirable by your customer. And it's always crazy to me how usually it's the cheaper items that are more successful in these promos. It can be a massive unlock. The other thing that I think is important is, depending on whichever of the 3 stages that you want to follow that Mark just mentioned, taking the same UX of that first one and still deploying it regardless if you do the more complicated ones. Making sure that customers are aware of it and understand how to execute it is something that it's going to be a little bit more complicated than just hitting somebody with an email over. Like, you do want to have that pop up letting people know, directing them to where they can go execute it. The top banner on the rest of your site is another great tactic that, super simple, can always be done. And it's good to just have, especially if you have one of the apps or you do the custom devs, that your banner rotates between multiple messages. One of my favorite ones is going to be bundles. I think that these are so underutilized and kind of in the same theme as the free gift of, you can put a couple of products together. If you're intelligent about how you put them together, you look at product affinity maps. So what do people typically buy together? You look at your profit for all of those items. And then the third thing that I would just recommend analyzing before doing this is, what are your best sellers? So your high volume products, and what are the margins in them? And then what are your high margin products that aren't necessarily have the same volume behind them, and pair them together if it makes sense. What that does is allows you to play really creatively with your cost structure, where you could be putting together $50 worth of COGS that would normally MSRP for $200, and then you're selling it at $150, and you're making that nice $100 margin with a great offer. You're not discounting down because for some reason people just always accept that if I buy things together, I should get a price break. And so you can offer probably an even more aggressive discount than you would normally and make more profit. Pulling the bundles together ahead of time is a bit of a logistic nightmare. It is kind of difficult. You have to pull all the inventory out of stock, reskew it, repackage it, and then relist it. So something that's really cool that I've heard that a couple of brands are doing this year are what are called virtual SKUs. Essentially what that is, and what that means in English, is we list a bundle on the site, and then our we have some custom development on the back end that syncs to the inventory levels of the 3 products. So let's just say a green t-shirt, a black hoodie, and black joggers. You would have each of those 3 products listed on your site. You would create this custom bundle with some good product photography, put that up on your site. And then me as the customer, when I would go through the experience, I would buy it exactly how I would buy a bundle anywhere else. I would have no idea. But when I add the products to the cart, it explodes and then it has the 3 products listed. And then your subtotal is still at that discount and that automated deal, essentially. So you can avoid the logistical headache of trying to figure all this out. You can still provide the bundles, and then your fulfillment team can just go and send people those 3 items or however many that they bought in that virtual bundle to the customer. Obviously, if you don't have the development work, but you're the fulfillment resources, you can do a traditional bundle where you do just take them out of stock, repackage, reskew, and relist. But to me, that's a really great way. It raises AOV, it raises your profitability. It can also, if you're creative with it, can move a lot of your slower moving inventory and just tack it onto your high moving inventory, which is also going back to free gift purchase, like sometimes can be a great way to decide what your gift is going to be. But yeah, it's just a great way to hit all of those things that you want during holiday and make customers feel like they got this great deal from your brand.
Yeah, those are such good tools, good discounts, guys, or non-discounted promos. Those are really, really good. One on the more basic side that I think is equally as effective is a free shipping offer. There are a lot of different ways to do this, but just before we get into it, I mean, a lot of times I don't think store owners realize that the checkout abandonment is really largely due to shipping and taxes. I mean, we can't do anything about taxes, but the shipping element is something that we can't affect. So a good promo to do is a free shipping site wide. Is probably the easiest way to do this, and it just gives people a reason to buy. It alleviates the pain point if they had recently bought from your store, coming back and paying shipping twice. It also might push them over the edge to just save that extra $5.99, $5, whatever your shipping is, to kind of get them to pull that trigger and take care of that cart that they might have abandoned or checkout that they abandoned. Something else we suggest for your store that you do on a more evergreen type of situation is a free shipping threshold. A lot of people do use this, but you might see on a site free shipping with orders over $100. This is pretty easy to set up in Shopify, in the Shopify backend shipping settings. You can do this relatively easy. There are little ways you can spice it up with maybe a progression bar. You can list this at the top of the site. But like with the past 2 offers that these guys noted was the most important thing is that the customer is aware of what's going on. You want them to really go after these offers so we can increase average order value. But if they don't know that this offer exists, they're not going to build their cart to whatever the threshold is to get their free gift. They're not going to go after that bundle to increase your AOV. They're not going to increase their cart value to get free shipping. So I think that is a super simple way to do it. And Jeremy, you had a great way to spice up that free shipping threshold before we started recording. So I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, so I think free shipping at a threshold should be standard all year. If you're not already doing that, just deploy it now and get ready for holiday. And no matter what that threshold is, you should really do some calculations on your side to make sure it works. But what I always love to do during the holidays is you remove the threshold for standard shipping. So everybody gets free standard shipping from whenever you want to. Back in the day, this was always when we kicked off holiday, was whenever we decided that we were going to remove the shipping threshold. And then what you do is you reintroduce a shipping threshold, but if they spend over that threshold, they get free 2-day shipping. And where this really comes into a lot of value is actually post BFCM, kind of in that window between Cyber Monday and your last ship date of all of those last minute shoppers, because they're willing to spend more, they need to rush it. And they may not need the discounts or the other promos on your site, but they just want to get it as quickly as possible. And so obviously you need to work with your carriers, figure out what your costs are, and then just build that in of, okay, if our usual free shipping was 50, maybe now it needs to be 75 or 100. And it's a great way just to offer another promo, get people back to your site to incentivize them to spend and really play into that natural urgency you have during that last window of the holiday season.
Yeah. I mean, free shipping probably seems like a super obvious, super standard thing. You're going to see it really, really everywhere, especially around the Black Friday time period. So I guess a few things to be thinking about when you are executing on this. If you're going free shipping site wide, you need to think about it as that's you going after a higher conversion rate. If you're going free shipping over a particular threshold, that's you going after specifically higher average order value. And the best way this is a question that we hear a lot, best way to determine what that threshold is for free shipping is to look at what your regular store average order value is. So let's say it's $75. You want that shipping free shipping threshold to be just slightly above that. So if it's $75 and you know that you have plenty of products on your site that are around the $20 mark, then maybe you make it somewhere around $100 or slightly under, so that you're having them add. They can look at your site and say, if I just add this one more thing, then I can save that $5, $6, $10, whatever the shipping was going to cost. And ultimately, it ends up being that the customer is, in their mind, only spending a couple more dollars, but you're selling a lot more.
Yeah. And it's so weird how that was the like ultimate hack and strategy 5-10 years ago, and now it's become the expected. And yeah, there are many ways to get into that. So I want to cover the fourth one, our favorite one of all. And I think easily the most underutilized strategy of just ways to get customers to spend more during the holidays without you having to discount down your products, of just product drops, like literally just dropping products on your major promotions. I feel like so many people break promotions and product drops into these two separate events that can't overlap in their mind. And I see that as the like true biggest mistake, especially during this time of year. So do you guys just want to walk through like how you strategically drop new product while discounting other product and really make that as big of an event as possible during this time of year?
Yeah, totally. This is definitely, I'm glad we saved this one for last. This is definitely the hands down number one thing that if any store is going to make a mistake, it's going to be by not releasing new products. This is the time period where customers are most likely to buy. This is a time period where you're probably going to get the most new customers. Everything. It's the most inflated time for all of the above. The discounts are bringing them in. So that's why you discount. If you've been the mindset of like, I just want to discount my products because I know that it's customers are going to come in and buy stuff, you're not thinking like the bigger stores are thinking. The bigger stores know that they're just discounting some things to then sell other things at full margin. And coming out with a new product at that time will make sure that that new product is the thing that they're going to buy. So give them plenty of other things to discount. Stale items, best sellers, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Give them a reason to come in, but don't miss the opportunity to have really several new products and hype those new products. Every time you're going to hype your discounts around BFCM, hype the new product at the same time, so that that customer knows when they come in to buy something for 30-40% off, they're not leaving without that other item or items that are, full price.
Yeah, exactly. And vice versa. I mean, we have good info that sales items bring in new customers, and then the new release items, so limited edition items, are to service your existing customers. And that's a good way to think about the holiday season too. We will never have more new customers come in the door than through this BFCM season. You have to treat it that way. That's why we need the discounted items on site. And those are tantalizing offers. They're going to be seeing them all over the place. So get them in the door, get them to convert easy. And the limited edition items are for your existing customers who have shopped with you all year. If you think about it, depending on your store structure, your existing customers may have already purchased the product that you're discounting on BFCM, and it may not be a product that they need a second time. So the limited edition item or the new items will definitely help boost your conversion during the BFCM to your easiest, lowest hanging fruit, which would be returning customers. So it definitely is a great strategy, and one that I think everyone should utilize here this season.
Yeah, and what I think the brilliance of what you guys are touching on here is it's the something for everyone sale. Is that you're finding a very creative way that accomplishes many sub goals, and then those sub goals wrap up that it's we have a general focus, that it's we for new customers, for returning customers, and then honestly for fence sitters. I think that's another big piece of why limited editions are so special. Is I can't tell you how many of my friends will like follow an Instagram account or like subscribe to an email all year and maybe not buy that hero product that they've been waiting for. But then there's that one little addition that makes it truly unique. And people love, whether it's buying for others or themselves, they love the story of unique items. And they love the like, oh, I got this from this cool brand that everybody knows about. And it's this one limited run that they only made whatever, 500, 1,000 units of. And nobody else will have it. And that's why I decided to finally spend the X amount, whatever dollars. And also, I don't think it really needs to be that complicated. One of my favorite examples of this is actually a toilet paper company. So if any of you are familiar who gives a crap, it makes bamboo, they produce toilet paper, paper towels, like all paper goods that you buy in a grocery store, but it's all it's all D2C. And they have limited edition toilet paper. Like, I don't know that I've ever heard of anything that creative before. They just change the wrappers. They come up with creative names. They come up with creative stories, but you're still buying toilet paper. Like it's nothing like different or special. It's the same core product. And I think that it's very ridiculous and a little bit of a silly example, but I think it really executes the point of like, you don't need to go and create this whole new product or change some massive part of your branding and offering. Like sometimes if you just be really creative with your packaging, that could be unique enough that somebody also really wants to jump on, and it's limited edition. And like I think that's really brilliant. Of like also if you think of your packaging like a product, like some people will buy fancy alcohol for the branding, or some people will buy DVD collections because it has the crazy whatever stuff in it. You don't always need to go, and I know we're kind of like you don't have that much time to actually go deploy a brand new product launch, but you can be really creative with what you do in other parts of your business. And you get the same effect because people are like, oh, this is truly novel and unique. And that's another big part of why they want to buy. And so the other piece that I like to think of, kind of going back to Ben, what you were saying earlier, is like toys do this all the time. They advertise the crap out of the new, hot, really popular toy that doesn't have a lot of inventory to get you in, knowing that the majority of people who actually come will go to buy the discounted stuff. And so that's also why I just want to hit on also that limited edition piece is so important. You can definitely drop new product over holiday and it will be successful. I just don't think it'll have the same type of pop as a discounted promotion will. But just throwing that limited edition, creating some natural scarcity and urgency, giving people a reason to buy, I think gives you that same type of like, oh crap, I have to go do something from the customer motivation that typically that money back incentive would. So I think it's so important just to really think about, and it might be too late for this year, but think about it for your end of year, if you can get something out before New Year's, and then really just think about it next year. Like it's so important to have this in your mix that you could be dropping new product, you could be discounting some product, you could be rolling out a gift with promo all at the same time. Sorry, gift with purchase all at the same time. So there's just a little bit for everybody. Obviously, don't try to if you haven't done any of these things before, do one and then add to it. But definitely as you run this promo year after year, like you can definitely start to layer on so that there's that truly you do have truly that something for everybody as a part of the promotion. Thanks for listening to another week's episode of the Messenger Mastermind podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with another e-commerce marketer. And always, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If you're looking for cutting-edge tactics and the resources that we rely on to run our businesses, sign up for our newsletter. We'll include a link down below. As always, stay confident, connect with your customers,